Hello and thank you for watching. As a lot of you probably already know, every adventurer one day reaches a journey's end, and I am very glad that mine has been in such good company. I have had the privilege of watching over my wards, both Sid and Cursor, but they've reached their limits. It is now time to bring their life to an end. Indeed, for in this galaxy there is yet another way to grow stronger. The powers of death and rebirth permeate throughout these lands. Those being killed can be reborn. Though Sid, she is far from dead, and even further from dying. How could one so full of life have their existence cut short by death? No. There is no need to fear death for our brave adventurer. A being with such vitality observed by a warden of mortals need not die to benefit from the land's powers. She has collected sufficient shards of powers, those commonly referred to as Empyrean motes by the mortals. And each mote increases the value of the hero souls she's collected from the various systems she's, visited. With these, she will be able to transcend to new heights, forfeiting her current status to focus the souls into her various strengths and grind away any of her weaknesses. All with the hopes of finding new systems to explore. As guide to an adventurer of your own, this is where you may wonder how we should know when she is ready to transcend. There are a few questions you should ask yourself as you consider and weigh the options. How far are you from clearing the system? How close are you to your maximum shard? What stays and what is left? And finally, where and how to spend the points. But before getting to those answers, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's subscribed, liked, and commented. There's been a lot of you lately, and wow, thank you. But far from least of all, I also wanted to say a massive thank you to all those in the Discord helping gather the information, data mine, or put together the helpful mods and the spreadsheets that we refer to for the statistics. I don't think any of us here would be where we are right now without the help of each other, and I haven't contributed much in terms of spreadsheets, so I just wanted to say 1,000 times thank you, and you guys have been amazing. Now, back to what we were talking about. So how far are you from clearing the next system? This is important quite simply because this directly affects how many souls you have. As you journey through the system, you collect souls for each world. Once you have made your way to the center of the system, the largest portion of the system's souls can be collected for future use. Clear the last world, and the spoils will be yours. So, perhaps you are at or close to your maximum amount of Empyrean motes, but it would be possible to clear out 1 or 2 more systems in the next 24-48 hours. In that case, it is likely worthwhile to clear the next system. Of course, take into account how much faster you will be if you are playing Sid. Wizard kind of has a maximum speed, but you want to consider the synergy perk and how close you are to getting it when you're playing the Wizard, because that is where the massive speed increase is going to happen. In short, you will be balancing the gains you'll receive from pushing that little bit more this time to the multipliers, which will carry you even further once you've spent the souls, and decide for yourself which one will be most beneficial. How close are you to the maximum amount of motes? This is an important resource for your transcension. Each shard multiplies your pending hero souls. So if you're on your first transcension, you have a maximum amount of 10. So you could consider each one as being about 10% more shards. When you look at the formula, it's a multiplier. So after your 20th ascension, you won't have a multiplier of times 10, you'll have a multiplier of times 20. For now, it's usually really good to go ahead and gather up all of your motes before you transcend. And most of the time you're going to be reaching your maximum system at the end of your mote counter regardless. In the future, and already in the Discord for people who have done 3 or 4 transcensions, we're starting to see different play styles where people will pause the game just to collect the motes because it's getting that hard to actually continue to push, and other people who are just screw it, I don't need the last 2 or 3 and just transcend right away. What stays after your transcension? What's left for you when you restart everything? Nothing at all. Their life starts anew, leaving all worldly possessions behind. Souls are, in the end, the only remnant of your ward's past strength. They will be used to hone abilities until even the most overlooked nodes on their path of life bring about power. What the heck are you doing with all these souls? Damage. Just damage, basically. Gold damage, item damage, actual stat damage, everything is damage, and you should get all the damage you can. Utility is very nice as well, but you don't need to overdo it either. When you have spare points, you can toss those into the reload perks and the energy perks and the mana perks, because this will reduce your reliance on synergy and synchrony for your sustained gameplay. Where and how to spend the actual points. And this is a tricky one, and your priorities will change based on the character you're watching over. To make it simply, consider this. If you have 10 nodes of a certain type, adding 1 level in the trans tab is like adding a whole additional node value in the tree. So this is where the tree planner is useful, as it's an easy reference to know how many levels of each node you have on your path. But this means that the wizard's breakpoints, where the value of the perks versus the value of the nodes, are going to be much different from Sid's. The wizard has roughly 60 nodes of each type on their tree, and you can expect to collect nearly 30 of each. This means that each level in the trans tab adds the equivalent of 3 nodes. So to gain value out of upgrading the nodes directly on the tree, you have to have 3 times the cost of a node in your trans tab perk. Now, Sid's usual average, when you really min-max your path, usually lies between 15 and 20 levels per stat. There's some more rare stuff like treasure chest chance and clickable chance and bonus gold chance. 8 or 9 of those is really, really good. There is also the issue where the golden nodes count as 3 levels, which is fine for the tab math, but it's a bit more confusing when upgrading. And that is because upgrading a golden node only upgrades it by the same value as a gray node, which means your golden 15% clicks will become 20% with the upgrade in the tree directly and 16.5% from the tab. All of this complicates the math quite a bit. But to keep it simple, just fall back on your total levels. You may need to manually count your number of upgraded nodes on your tree and add that to the total you get from the planner, but it's still the same in the end. So if a trans tab upgrade costs less than the value of the node cost times the sum of the nodes in your planner plus the amount of nodes you've upgraded times 0.1, go into the trans tab. Basically, if you're picking up 20 nodes on the tree, or the equivalent of 20 nodes on the tree, your trans tab cost needs to be double the cost on the trees before you upgrade the trees. Now for the wizard, your rank 1 perk nodes don't work at all the same way as the golden nodes that Sid has. Each level does increase it by its original value, and this means that the flash node level 2 will be double, and at the time of this recording, instead of adding 10% flash, they will be adding 20% flash once you put the hero souls directly on that node. Now, when should you get the big perks? If you're asking about the wizard's synergy, I say immediately the second you can afford it. That buff is an exponentially growing multiplier, and that is the reason they ripped it out of the skill tree and put it into the trans perks. It's there. So get it. For Sid, when the cost doesn't outweigh the benefits of boosting stats. So the perks for Sid aren't as highly impactful as those on the wizard. And as such, it's good to get them when they don't hinder your boost of other stats. So maybe 5 to 10% of your total hero souls from your transcend. And that's it. That's all I have. So thanks for watching, subscribe, and I will see you in the next system.